Good morning, family. Let me ask you a question. What if I told you that in just 7 days, you could completely rewire your mind and set yourself on a trajectory toward wealth, success, and unstoppable personal growth? Most people spend years complaining about their circumstances, blaming the economy, their upbringing, or other people. But I'm here to tell you that everything you've ever wanted starts inside your mind. And if you master your mind, nothing in the world can stop you. Today, I'm going to teach you how to brainwash your mind in just 7 days. And I promise you, if you apply this, your life will never be the same. Let me tell you something that most people never understand. Your mind is the battlefield where your life is won or lost, and the first weapon you need is awareness. Most people go through life asleep, reacting to circumstances instead of controlling them, allowing every negative thought, fear, and doubt to dictate their choices. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you really observed your own thinking? Most people can't even answer that because they are so busy living on autopilot, letting society, media, and even other people program their subconscious. The moment you start paying attention to your thoughts, the moment you begin to catch yourself when negativity creeps in, is the moment your life starts to shift. Awareness is not just noticing, it's owning your mental space, commanding it, and refusing to let destructive thinking stay lodged in your mind. People often say, I can't control my thoughts. But that's a lie. You can, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you start winning. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and realized that every single limitation you believed about yourself was actually just a habit of thinking you had picked up over the years. Every doubt, every fear, every I can't and I'm not enough is nothing more than mental programming you accepted without question. Now, here's the good news. Just as you were programmed, you can reprogram. But it starts with awareness. You have to see the chains before you can break them. You have to catch the mental loops before you can replace them with loops of faith, confidence, and success. Many people don't even know they are living under the weight of their own subconscious sabotage. They keep complaining about why opportunities haven't come, why relationships are failing, why money seems to evade them, without realizing that their own mind has been quietly ruling them with outdated software. Here's a hook I want you to really feel. Your mind is like a fertile garden, and every thought is a seed. Some seeds produce weeds that choke out your potential, while others produce fruit that sustains wealth, health, and influence. Awareness is the sunlight that exposes the weeds. You can't uproot what you don't see. If you're not paying attention, those weeds will grow unchecked, and before long, you're living a life dictated by fear, procrastination, and self-doubt. But once you see them, you can act. Once you name them, you can tame them. I'm telling you, there is power in simply observing your thoughts and questioning them. Stop saying, I'm just like this, or that's how I think. Ask yourself, does this serve me? Does this build the life I want, or does it limit me? That question alone begins to separate ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. Let me give you another hook to lock this in. Awareness is like a mirror. Most people look in the mirror every morning to see their face, but very few look to see their mind. If you want to change your life, you have to start looking inward with the same intensity you look outward. Catch those thoughts before they become habits, before they become words, before they become actions. Notice when doubt creeps in during a conversation, when fear lingers before making a decision, when negative self-talk whispers that you are not capable. Each time you catch it, you gain power. Each time you observe it without reacting, you weaken its hold. Awareness also creates a space for choice. Before awareness, you are a victim of your programming. After awareness, you are a commander of your own mind. You have the power to decide what you will accept, what you will reject, and what you will cultivate. The mind is not just a tool, it is the foundation of everything you achieve. The moment you become conscious of your thoughts, you step into your authority. You realize that the battle was never outside of you, it was always inside. And the first victory is simply knowing where you stand. Awareness is the ignition. It sparks everything else, the words you speak, the actions you take, the discipline you maintain, and the results you produce. Without it, you are wandering blindly. With it, you become unstoppable. Let me ask you something. What you say is far more powerful than what you think. Words are not just sounds that leave your mouth. They are forces that shape your reality. Most people underestimate this. They wake up, complain about their life, and then wonder why nothing changes. I'm here to tell you today that your words are the blueprint of your future. If you speak defeat, you will attract defeat. If you speak limitation, you will live in limitation. But if you speak faith, speak abundance, and speak victory, you begin to create a reality that aligns with those words. Here's a hook for you to never forget. Your tongue is like a paintbrush, and your words are the colors. What picture are you painting every single day? Are you painting a life of poverty, struggle, and failure? Or are you painting a life of wealth, purpose, and impact? Many people say, I want to be successful, but their words betray them. They say things like, I can't afford it. It's too late for me, or I'll never get there. And here's the truth. Every time you speak that way, you are programming your subconscious to prove you right. It's science, it's scripture, and it's undeniable law. Your words create your world. Proverbs 18:21 says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. That means what you say can literally kill your dreams or give birth to them. Imagine if you started every day declaring life over your circumstances instead of complaining about them. Imagine telling yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, and I will achieve what others say is impossible. The very act of speaking it aloud begins to transform your mind and set your actions into motion. Here's another hook. Most people never realize that speaking your future into existence is not just about positive thinking. It's about commanding your life with authority. It's not passive, it's active. You have to say it like it is already true. Don't just whisper it in your heart. Shout it with conviction. Say, I am financially free. I am a leader. I am creating wealth and impact, until your mind has no choice but to align with your words. The subconscious does not argue, it obeys. When you declare it consistently, your mind accepts it as reality, and your actions will naturally follow. I want to give you a hook that will change the way you approach every conversation. Your words don't just affect you, they affect everything around you. The energy you project through your words influences your environment, your relationships, and the opportunities you attract. When you speak with faith, confidence, and vision, people are drawn to that energy. Doors open. Opportunities appear. Things that seemed impossible begin to line up in your favor. But here's the catch. This only works if your words are consistent, deliberate, and intentional. Random declarations will not work. You must speak with purpose and repetition. Every word is a seed. Plant the seeds of success, not despair. Let's make this personal. Stop saying, I hope or I wish. Hope is weak. Wishing is powerless. Instead, declare. Declare what you are building, what you are achieving, and who you are becoming. Do it in the mirror, write it down, say it aloud multiple times a day. Every repetition strengthens your subconscious programming. Every declaration reinforces the reality you are creating. Every word is a tool in your mental workshop. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not the luckiest. They are the ones who spoke their future into existence and refused to let anything contradict it. Here's the final hook for this point. If you want to change your life, you must start with the language you use. Words are not just reflections of your reality. They are the architects of it. Speak boldly, consistently, and with faith, and watch as your life bends to match the reality you declare. Your future is waiting, but it will only arrive if you give it a voice. Let me be very honest with you. Your mind is a magnet, and it will absorb everything you expose it to. If you are constantly feeding it negativity, fear, doubt, and failure-based thinking, it will naturally produce results that reflect that junk. Most people don't even realize how toxic their mental diet is. They scroll through social media, consume news that depresses them, and listen to conversations full of complaints and excuses, all while wondering why their lives are stagnant. Here's a hook to grab your attention. Your mind doesn't negotiate with nonsense. It will either follow the garbage you feed it or the greatness you pour into it. If you want to win in life, the first step is ruthlessly eliminating mental junk. Now, I'm not just talking about negative thoughts, although those are certainly deadly if left unchecked. I'm talking about everything that invades your mind daily: toxic people who belittle your dreams, media that glorifies failure, environments that encourage mediocrity. These are like parasites feeding on your potential. If you don't remove them, you are essentially planting seeds of defeat and wondering why nothing grows. You have to understand that your environment and mental intake are far more powerful than your willpower alone. You can be disciplined, you can be motivated, but if your mental inputs are contaminated, your outputs will always be weak. Let me give you a hook here. You cannot think yourself into greatness while swimming in a pool of negativity. You have to get out of that pool. Most people try to balance toxic inputs with positive thinking, and that's a waste of energy. It's like trying to pour crystal clear water into a filthy bucket. You can pour all you want, but the dirt will always overpower it. The solution is elimination. Remove the toxic, remove the weak, remove the nonsense that clouds your mind. Say no to conversations that do not serve your purpose. Stop watching media that triggers fear, jealousy, or doubt. Remove habits that reinforce limitation. Once you do that, you create space for clarity, wisdom, and power to flourish. Here's a hook for you. When you remove the junk, your mind begins to operate at a level you never thought possible. Opportunities, ideas, and breakthroughs that were hidden behind mental clutter now become visible. Let's talk about habits, because this is where most people fail. Mental junk is reinforced through repeated patterns. Listening to pessimistic friends daily, absorbing stories of failure, indulging in gossip, letting your attention be hijacked by social media drama. These are all habits that program your mind to accept mediocrity. You must break these habits deliberately. Decide what is allowed in your mental space. Guard your mind like a treasure chest, because that is exactly what it is. The moment you take control of what enters, you take control of what exits. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, your results. Here's another hook. Your environment will either be your prison or your launch pad. Choose wisely what occupies your mind. And don't forget, this elimination is not a one-time event. It is daily maintenance. Every morning, ask yourself, what am I exposing my mind to today? Every night, reflect, What did I let in that helped me grow? And what did I allow that tried to bring me down? Awareness plus deliberate elimination creates a mental climate where success can thrive. Your mind is like a garden, and every day you either weed it or let the weeds grow. If you keep letting negativity take root, no amount of hard work or motivation will produce lasting results. But when you eliminate mental junk consistently, your mind becomes a fertile ground for ideas, faith, confidence, and wealth. You will begin to notice that your energy changes, your focus sharpens, and doors start opening that were invisible before. Here's the final hook for this point. If you truly want to brainwash your mind for success, your first priority must be ruthless mental hygiene. Starve the negative, discard the toxic, and make room for greatness. Your life reflects what you let in, so choose carefully because everything begins with what your mind consumes. Let me ask you something. What surrounds your mind every single day? The truth is, most people spend more time absorbing mediocrity than they do greatness, and it shows in their results. If you want to change your life, you must intentionally immerse yourself in greatness. I'm talking about deliberate exposure to ideas, people, and experiences that elevate your thinking and expand your vision. Here's a hook for your environment. Your influences and what you feed your mind are the primary factors that determine the level of your success. If you want to operate at a higher level, you must consume greatness relentlessly. Think about the average person who wants to succeed. They wake up, scroll social media, listen to negative conversations, watch fear-driven news, and then wonder why their life feels stagnant. You cannot elevate your mind with the same content that keeps the masses trapped in fear and limitation. Here's the hook that will change the way you approach your day. You are a product of what you allow into your mind consistently. Reading one book or listening to one podcast is not enough. Immersion requires repetition, focus, and discipline. You have to saturate your mind with success-based content until it becomes your default way of thinking. Most people underestimate the power of what they read, listen to, and watch. The mind is like a sponge. It absorbs everything. If you spend your time in mediocre conversations, you will develop mediocre habits. If you spend your time in abundance, focused, faith-driven, and success-oriented learning, your mind starts to recalibrate. Ideas flow differently. Opportunities that seemed invisible before suddenly appear. You begin to see solutions instead of problems, strategies instead of excuses, and pathways where others see walls. Here's a hook. If you want your life to change the content that is controlling your mind. Immerse yourself not just in information, but in people who think at a higher level. Associations are powerful. You don't have to change your friends immediately, but you must consistently expose yourself to mentors, teachers, and leaders who operate in the reality you want to achieve. Their mindset, language, and habits will rub off on you whether you realize it or not. If you are serious about brainwashing your mind for success, you must actively seek environments that stretch your thinking and inspire action. The hook here is simple. You cannot rise above the level of your influences. Choose them wisely. Another crucial point is that immersion requires consistency. Don't just consume greatness occasionally. Saturate your mind daily. Read books that teach wealth. Listen to audios that ignite faith and confidence. Watch interviews with people who have achieved what you desire. Let these messages seep into your subconscious until they begin to replace outdated patterns of thinking. Your mind will begin to see possibilities you never saw before. Your energy will shift. Your actions will follow your new thought patterns naturally. Here's another hook when you immerse yourself in greatness. Your mind stops asking how and starts acting like success is inevitable. You must also combine immersion with reflection. Don't just consume content passively. Take notes, apply lessons, and ask yourself, how can I implement this today? Ideas alone don't create wealth or success. Applied ideas do. The more you immerse yourself in greatness and put it into action, the faster your mind is reprogrammed for success. Here's the hook that ties it all together. Immersion without action is like filling a bucket with water that leaks. You must absorb and implement simultaneously. Finally, understand that immersion changes your perception of what is possible. When you consistently expose your mind to excellence, you start believing that success, wealth, influence, and impact are not distant dreams. They are inevitable outcomes for someone willing to think and act differently. You begin to measure yourself not against limitation, but against the standard of greatness you are immersing yourself in. Your mind adapts, your habits change, and your life begins to reflect the level of excellence you allow into your mental environment. Let me ask you something powerful. What you see in your mind is what you are ultimately going to create in your life. Most people underestimate the supernatural force of vivid imagination combined with belief. Visualization is not just daydreaming. It is training your subconscious to recognize, attract, and achieve the reality you desire. Here's a hook to grab your attention. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. If you can see it, feel it, and experience it in your mind will find a way to make it real. Many people fail because they think visualization is optional or soft. They say, I just want to work hard and it will happen. I'm here to tell you that effort without a mental blueprint is like building a house without a plan. You will struggle, waste time, and achieve less than your potential. You must see it first, see yourself in it, feel it, and live it in your imagination as if it is already yours. Here's the hook: the mind acts on what it believes, not what it hopes for. If you visualize clearly, your subconscious will begin directing your energy, your decisions, and your opportunities toward that vision. When you wake up in the morning, before checking your phone, close your eyes and imagine your ideal life. Feel it in every part of your body. Smell the air, hear the sounds, and sense the emotions of having achieved your goals. The power of this exercise is that your brain begins to treat it as an internal reality. Every decision you make, every action you take, starts aligning with that imagined reality. Most people don't understand that visualization is the silent magnet that pulls your reality toward your dreams. Your success begins in the mind before it manifests in the world. Here's a hook that will blow your mind. When you visualize with emotion, your subconscious begins to rewire your beliefs. Doubt is replaced with confidence. Fear is replaced with faith. Weakness is replaced with strength. It's not enough to just see it in your mind. You must feel it. If you want wealth, feel the abundance. If you want influence, feel the respect. If you want health, feel the vitality. The more real you make it internally, the more real it becomes externally. Every great achiever you admire has practiced this principle. They didn't just hope for success, they saw it, believed it, and felt it until it became inevitable. Another crucial hook is this: visualization is a daily habit, not a one-time exercise. Consistency is the secret that separates ordinary people from extraordinary achievers. Each morning, each night, saturate your mind with the life you are creating. Replay it over and over. Make it so vivid that your subconscious cannot resist it. Over time, your thoughts, your words, and your actions automatically align with the mental image you've created. What was once imagination becomes strategy. What was once a dream becomes a plan. What was once impossible becomes inevitable. Visualization also sharpens your awareness of opportunities. Once you see it in your mind, you start noticing resources, people, and situations that support your vision. Doors that seemed closed suddenly open. Connections appear naturally. The universe, or whatever force you believe in, aligns in response to the clarity and intensity of your mental image. Here's the hook. The mind cannot act on what it does not see clearly. The clearer, the more detailed, and the more emotionally charged your visualization, the more unstoppable your momentum becomes. Finally, understand that visualization is not just a technique, it's a lifestyle. The more you live in your mind as if your goals are already achieved, the faster your subconscious engineers strategies, actions, and behaviors that bring them into reality. Your mind becomes a factory producing results that match your mental blueprint. The moment you combine vivid imagination with relentless belief, you create a force that moves mountains, overcomes obstacles, and draws success towards you like a magnet. Let me ask you a very important question. What good is a powerful mind, clear visualization, or relentless belief if you don't take action? Most people think that thinking positively or dreaming vividly is enough, but that is where so many fail. Action is the bridge between what exists in your mind and what manifests in reality. Here's a hook for you to lock in your thoughts. Words and plans are useless without decisive, consistent action to back them up. The moment you act, you give life to the mental programming you've been building. And that is when the impossible starts to bend toward your favor. Many people wait for the perfect moment or for circumstances to be just right. Let me tell you something. Perfection is a myth and waiting is a trap. Every day you delay action, your dreams lose momentum and mediocrity becomes a habit. Bold action requires courage, and courage requires you to move before you feel ready. Here's the hook. The most successful people don't wait for permission or perfect conditions. They move decisively and consistently, even in uncertainty. Each step you take, no matter how small, reinforces the programming in your mind, proving to yourself that you are capable and unstoppable. Consistency is just as important as boldness. Action is not a one-time event, it is a daily commitment to your vision. Every day, you must show up and do something that moves you closer to your goals. This is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Bold action without consistency fizzles out, and consistency without boldness leads to slow, uninspired results. Combine the two, and you create unstoppable momentum. Here's a hook. Success is rarely a single giant leap. It is the accumulation of repeated, intentional steps taken boldly and consistently. Fear is the biggest obstacle to action. Fear whispers, you can't do it, you'll fail, or you're not ready. Most people listen, and that's why their lives remain unchanged. Let me tell you the truth. Fear is a signal that you are on the edge of growth. When fear appears, it is your opportunity to act anyway. Bold action means you move forward even when your mind says no. Consistent action means you keep moving every day, building proof in your life that your vision is not only possible, but inevitable. Here's another hook. Your comfort zone is the enemy of progress. Every time you take action in spite of fear, you expand your capacity to achieve. Action also trains your mind to expect results. When you take bold, consistent steps, your brain begins to recognize that effort produces outcomes. You start noticing opportunities you would have ignored. Solutions come faster, confidence grows. Your words, thoughts, and visualizations now have a partner in reality, your actions. Without action, the mind becomes a warehouse of ideas with no delivery system. But when action flows, your life becomes the reflection of everything you've imagined, spoken, and believed. The hook here is simple. Action transforms your dreams from mental constructs into tangible results. Bold, consistent action is also magnetic. It draws resources, connections, and opportunities to you. People respect initiative. Doors open for those who show up, do the work, and refuse to be deterred. Every step taken in faith signals to the world and your subconscious that you are serious about success. Momentum builds, and what once seemed impossible starts to feel inevitable. Here's a hook. Your action signal to your mind and your environment that you are ready for greatness, and both respond in kind. Finally, understand that action is the final test of all your preparation. Awareness, declarations, elimination of junk, immersion, visualization. These are the foundation. Action is the engine. Boldness moves mountains. Consistency sustains progress. And every step compounds into extraordinary results. The more decisive and persistent you are, the faster your mind and life align with your vision. Action is faith in motion. It turns your inner programming into outer reality.